So we did it. We're here.
Episode 1.
Yeah, that's right. Looking forward to what this new season's going to bring and this opportunity. For those of you that don't know, I'm Mark and this is my wife Tammy. We are the Wallaces, and we've been pastoring here at Living Word Fellowship in the Central Valley of California for 25 years now, since 1996. Mm-hmm. And periodically we do stuff at the church in the service that we call Real Talk.
Yeah, there have been times that sometimes we just need to talk out stuff. You know, there are certain subjects, things like that I think people have a lot of questions, and they like it when you can just talk to them. Not necessarily preach a sermon about something, but sometimes, you know, you have questions. We like it when people submit questions, and we're able to answer those things and just have a good conversation with the congregation.
And so, birthed out of that and how popular that is, we decided to do a podcast. So this is episode number 1. Mm-hmm. And, you know, when we've done Real Talk before the congregation, I think sometimes people don't want to hear preaching or teaching. Mm-hmm. They just need to keep it real and talk about the issue. Maybe we've been in a series on family or on marriage or what have you. And sometimes it's just good to answer questions from the audience, mm-hmm. as well as just drill down and have a conversation.
Yeah, and there have been times that we've had the privilege of being able to interview guests that come in. People get to know them a little bit better, learn about their background. I think one of my favorite times that we did Real Talk was with the Mooring Boys, mm-hmm. with Jack and Leland, and it was wonderful. The people really got to, they hear them on the radio, they get to hear them sing, they love their hearts. They always love it when they come here, but they really loved getting to know them, hearing about their parents, their childhood, things like that. That brings people into a very intimate place with you and doesn't leave it so surface.
Yeah.
So that's been really good.
That particular Real Talk really got them, the audience or the congregation, to be able to really get to know them, yes, behind the scenes. Mm-hmm. And so that's kind of what we want to do with this is we've decided we want it to be 3 things. Real. We want to talk about real issues, real life, and we want to be authentic and genuine. Most of the time, I think in Real Talk, you'll be my sidekick. There will be times when the 2 of us will interview someone else. Mm-hmm. Maybe times when our associate, Pastor Jason Protzman, is my sidekick for the day. Could be just me interviewing someone. Could be you interviewing someone and talking about real issues and real life, whatever's going on. And so this podcast is not going to be about any one thing. There are podcasts out there by the thousands. And some of them are talking about money. Some of them are talking about family. Some of them are talking about business and success. We're going to talk about all of it. And so we just want to keep it real. Second thing, we want to keep it raw. Raw meaning transparent and raw emotions that we have felt in the midst of things, because that is a part of the reality of what people are feeling and going through. And I think there's this mindset of plastic Christianity or fake or phony or put on. And man, I want to keep it raw as well. And then finally, it's got to be relevant. It may not be a subject that we're talking about that day that pertains to everybody, but throughout, it's going to be relevant. Even when we're talking about one thing, there are principles in that can be applied because truth is parallel. And so it's going to be relevant to where everybody's living.
Mm-hmm. And I also want to talk about the other side of the coin. as to why Real Talk became a podcast idea. And I think it was a brilliant idea by our son, Adam, who is over the media department. And so when there are certain times that there are messages, sermons that are on Sunday mornings, and this is really where this was kind of born out from and has kind of evolved into so much more. But there are many times that when you or I or even a guest minister comes and is ministering on a Sunday morning, oh my gosh, that message could be broken down like into 10 weeks, right? One message, because it's so rich. There's so much. And one thing Living Word is known for is we don't serve cheese and crackers. It's always very deep. It is a very real word, very relevant word, right? But it can be broken down into much smaller pieces that I know many times we'll, on Sunday evenings, Sunday afternoons, we will come home after the message on Sunday morning. We'll be talking about it between the two of us. And I've said to you so many times, oh my God, I wanted to interrupt you. I wanted to just say, wait a minute, I've got something I want to put in there. And I had something in addition to that later you're like, oh my gosh, I wish you could have interrupted and said that.
Right.
That's great for this. Well, this is from those ideas. Adam came to us and said, wow, this today could have been broken down so much more. And I think there's so much more people need out of it. And so what do you think about doing a podcast where we can take sometimes the Sunday morning message and break it down more piece by piece? You could do multiple podcasts just from one message because it's so rich and really changes the whole mindset really of just that message. Because sometimes when we read, so many times when you read a scripture, right, you get one time you read it and this pops out to you. Right. And then another time you'll be in a different part of your life and you read that same scripture and something else stands out to you in that.
Right.
There's so many different aspects. The word is real. The word is alive. It's, it's so relevant to us and everything that we face. And so I think that I loved the idea when Adam came about the podcast, because it does give us a chance to break that down further. It'd be one thing to have a 4-hour Sunday morning service, right? Because you can't exhaust that scripture, and yet there's so much more. And I think it's great to be able to talk about those points, that you make on Sunday mornings, to be able to break that down and to talk about one little area and really be able to, I don't want to say exhaust it, but be able to break it down, so much more.
Really amplify it and broaden the perspective of it. There's another aspect of
Do
it,
it
though.
justice,
Right.
Do it more justice.
There's another aspect, though, is that I think oftentimes when people are hearing messages and they're hearing preaching, teaching, whatever, no matter who it is, how do I apply that to my life?
Exactly.
How does that fit me right where I'm living? And as you said, we don't have the time to drill down on everything. I'll make general statements, and others do. This can apply to your family. It doesn't matter if your marriage is on the rocks, or if your kids are going crazy, or if your money isn't working for you, and whatever's going on. Maybe you just got your pink slip at work, and you're unemployed, or you're trying to get a promotion and you don't, this word will apply, but here's what we don't do. How?
Right.
We don't drill down on that and make it so relevant and so practical in the application. Yes. And I'm really hoping that Real Talk can become that for a lot of people, because
I think it will.
Yeah.
I think it will, because we can take some of those, like you said, there's areas in your life that we look at and we say, but how do I apply that? That's sometimes where we can bring another person in, interview them.
Exactly.
Right? And they have insight specifically in these certain areas, because that's not a generality for all of us, but a specific for them in their career or whatever, they are in the middle of. Maybe it's an experience, right, that they went through. And we can bring someone in and interview them, talk to them about how did you apply that. And we gain so much. I gain a lot when I'm in my growth group, right? And I'm listening to these women that are talking about a certain subject. And there are many times that someone sees it from a different perspective because they've actually experienced it. It's not abstract. It's very real because they experienced it. And hearing from them, wow, brings like amazing insight. And I love being able to do that. So I'm looking forward to that aspect of Real Talk as well.
Yeah, I think it's going to be great. And I'm so excited to start this very first broadcast. It's just kind of an introduction time into what Real Talk is all about, how it came about, which we've shared that. But then this studio didn't just magically appear. We've got a couple of guys in our church, Jay Hambleton and our maintenance guy, Ed came in and they built all of this and we designed it. Adam had a lot of
built
play.
This beautiful
Isn't this an amazing table? I love this table. All rough redwood. You should have seen this. Well, you saw pictures. Y'all should have seen this before he started on it. And in fact, maybe we can get some pictures thrown up on the screen for this or whatever. But it was just amazing. This 2 pieces of redwood that he brought together, and he's got this what's that edge?
Live edge.
Yeah, live edge. I always want to call it a rough edge because it's rough, but it's not. It's smooth. But it's live. It's just great work. And then all the sound, and he did all the research about the type of microphones and lighting and cameras and on and on and on. The tremendous amount of work behind the scenes to make all this happen. And we're so appreciative.
We're here.
But
Finally.
we're here and we're starting.
Yeah.
Episode number 1. And I was listening to a podcast this morning, and it was a guy that I listen to on leadership just about every single day. And he was on episode 408.
Someday, babe.
I can't even think that far ahead. I mean, if we do this once a week, 408 weeks, that's a lot of years. And so anyway, we'll see where it goes, but I'm going to enjoy the ride and what this is going to do. So give us some feedback, like us and follow us, and be a part of this and listen to us weekly. It's going to be great.
And we hope you get a lot out of this.